The shocking statement right now. My stepmother is standing in the freezing snow. She has $0, no home, and no name. I just erased her entire existence with one single click. The betrayal 10 minutes ago. She threw me out of this mansion like trash. She called me a penniless maid. She laughed while signing her forged will. She truly believed she was the new queen of this billion-dollar empire. The hidden trap, but she forgot one thing. This estate does not belong to the bank. It belongs to a sovereign trust. And by kicking me out, she triggered a 500-year-old trap. A trap hidden inside the matriarch's will. The promise, this is the story of how I destroyed a dynasty in 60 seconds. You will not believe the look on her face when the federal marshals arrive. This is the matriarch's will. The grandfather clock in the grand hall strikes 11. It is a heavy sound. It echoes off the marble floors and vibrates through the soles of my shoes. Outside, the wind howls across the Thorne estate. It is the last night of 2025. A night for celebration. A night for new beginnings. But inside these walls, the air is thick with the scent of white lilies and roasted pine. It is a smell that costs more than most people earn in a year. It is the smell of stolen wealth. I stand in the shadows of the corner. My back is straight. My hands are cold. I am wearing a black scullery uniform. It is rough fabric. It scratches my skin. My fingers are white from gripping the edges of a heavy silver tray. On that tray, 12 glasses of vintage champagne sparkle under the light of the crystal chandeliers. Each bubble rising in the glass is a reminder of what was taken from me. This is my house. This is my legacy. These portraits on the walls are my ancestors. But tonight, I am treated like a ghost. I am a girl with no name. Eleanor sits at the head of the table. My stepmother. She wears my mother's diamonds. They sparkle with a cruel light. Her laughter is sharp. It sounds like breaking glass. She leans back in the velvet chair, the chair that belonged to my father. She looks at the guests, the elite of the city, the bankers, the lawyers, the politicians. They all toast to her health. They all celebrate the woman who stripped me of my birthright. They know who I am. They remember my father, but they are cowards. They follow the money. And right now, Eleanor holds the purse strings. Alara, more champagne. Her voice cuts through the soft music of the violinists. The room goes quiet for a second. The guests look at me. I can feel their pity. It feels like a physical weight. It is worse than their hatred. I do not look down. I do not show them the fire burning behind my eyes. I walk forward. My shoes make no sound on the thick Persian rug. I reach the table. The heat from the candles on the centerpiece hits my face. The scent of expensive perfume and red wine is suffocating. I pour the liquid. It bubbles. It looks like liquid gold. As I fill Eleanor's glass, she doesn't even look at me. She treats me like a piece of furniture, a tool to be used and then discarded. Her son Julian sits to her right. He is smirking. He reaches out and purposefully bumps my arm. A few drops of the expensive vintage spill onto the white lace tablecloth. The stain spreads like blood. Watch your step, maid. Julian says it loudly. He wants everyone to hear. He wants to remind me of my place. He wants to see me crumble. He expects me to apologize. He expects me to cry. But I do neither. I simply set the bottle down. I pull a silk napkin from my pocket. I blot the stain with steady hands. My pulse is slow. My heart is a stone. The table erupts in conversation again. They forget. I am there. They talk about the Thorne Empire. They talk about the merger. They talk about the billions of dollars they will control tomorrow morning. They think the game is over. They think they won when they forged my father's signature. They think they won when they evicted me from my own bedroom. They believe that because they have the lawyers and the power. They have the truth. But they have forgotten one thing. They have forgotten the matriarch. My grandmother did not build this empire on paper alone. She built it on blood and iron. She knew that men like Julian and women like Eleanor would come. She knew that greed is a disease that rots a family from the inside out, and she prepared for it. Underneath my rough apron, I can feel the shape of a rusted iron key. It is small. It is cold against my hip. It is the only thing they did not find. They searched the vaults. They searched the offshore accounts. They tore apart my father's study. But they never looked in the scullery. They never looked in the places they considered beneath them. The clock ticks. 11:15. The minutes are sliding away. Each tick of the clock is a step closer to the end of their world. I look at the portrait of the matriarch. She is hanging directly across from Eleanor. Her eyes are painted with a secret. She looks down at the banquet with a silent, judging stare. She looks at the way they waste the Thorne fortune on gold-plated plates and rare truffles. She looks at me. I can almost hear her voice in the wind outside. She is telling me to be patient. She is telling me that the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest. Eleanor raises her glass. A toast. She screams. Her face is flushed with wine. To the Thorne name. And to the new year, may our enemies stay in the dirt, and may our wealth never end. The guests cheer. The sound is deafening. They drink deeply. They are drunk on their own arrogance. They have no idea that the very ground they stand on is shifting. They have no idea that the bank accounts they are bragging about are already being watched. Julian looks at me again. He leans in close. His breath smells of expensive cigars and cheap cruelty. Why aren't you smiling? Alara, it's a party. You should be happy we let you stay to see the fireworks. I look him directly in the eyes. I do not blink. I do not move. I am smiling, Julian. I whisper, you just can't see it yet. He frowns. He doesn't like my tone. He doesn't like that I am not afraid. He raises his hand as if to strike me. But Eleanor stops him. She is too busy enjoying her victory. Leave her, Julian. She's just a bitter girl. Tomorrow, she will be on the street with the rest of the trash. Let her enjoy the warmth while it lasts. She thinks she is being merciful. She thinks she is the one in control of my fate. She doesn't realize that I am the one who allowed this banquet to happen. I am the one who let them gather all their friends in one place. I wanted them to be at their highest point. I wanted them to feel invincible. Because the fall is so much better when you are standing on top of a mountain of lies. I step back into my corner. The shadows swallow me again. I watch the clock. 11:30. The servants are moving quickly now, bringing out the final courses. The atmosphere is electric. Everyone is waiting for the countdown to midnight. They are waiting for the fireworks to light up the sky over the Thorne estate. They are waiting for the moment they officially become the owners of everything I love. I reach into my pocket. I touch the key again. Then I touch the small, encrypted device my father left for me. It is a hardware token. It is connected to a satellite network they don't even know exists. At midnight. The legal definition of the Thorne estate changes. At midnight. The default reversion clause activates. My father told me once that the law is a weapon. In the hands of a fool, it is a stick. In the hands of a Thorne, it is a guillotine. Eleanor thinks she used the law to kill me. She doesn't realize she just put her own head in the basket. I look out the window. The snow is falling harder now. It is a white veil covering the world. It looks peaceful. It looks like a clean slate. In 30 minutes, the power in this room will vanish. In 30 minutes, the champagne will turn to vinegar in their mouths. In 30 minutes, I will no longer be the maid. I see the lead lawyer for the estate. Mr. Sterling. He is sitting at the far end of the table. He looks nervous. He keeps checking his watch. He knows something is wrong. He tried to help them hide the truth. He helped them forge the documents. He thinks he is safe because he has a signed contract. He doesn't know that the matriarchs will override every contract in the state. He doesn't know that he is about to lose his license and his freedom. I catch his eye. For a split second, he sees me, really sees me. He sees the Thorne blood in my veins. He sees the iron in my posture. He pales. He drops his fork. It clatters loudly against the china. Eleanor looks at him. What is it, Sterling? You look like you've seen a ghost. I smile. This time, it is visible. But I am in the shadows, so they cannot see the predator in the room. I am not a ghost. I am the reckoning. And the clock is still ticking. 11:45. The countdown has begun. Eleanor stands up slowly. The silk of her dress rustles like a snake in the grass. She holds a single piece of parchment in her hand. It is thick. It is expensive. It is the color of old bone. The room falls into a heavy silence. Even the violinists stop playing. The only sound is the crackling of the fire in the massive stone hearth, and the ticking of the clock. 11:48. Eleanor holds the paper high above her head. She looks like a priestess holding a sacrifice. She wants everyone to see it. She wants them to witness her final victory. The light from the chandelier catches the ink. It glitters with a dark, sinister sheen. This is the document that changed everything. The new will. The secret testament of my father. Or so she claims. I can smell the ink from across the room. It does not smell like the aged, dust-covered ink of my father's study. It smells sharp. It smells of chemicals. It smells of a lie. That was born yesterday. I stand perfectly still in my corner. My hands are folded in front of my black apron. I am the invisible witness. I am the girl they think they destroyed. My dear friends, Eleanor begins. Her voice is like velvet wrapped around a blade. We have lived through a difficult year. The loss of my husband was a blow to us all. She pauses. She touches a lace handkerchief to her eye. It is a perfect performance. There are no tears, only cold, calculating ambition. But tonight, on this final evening of 2025, I want to clear the air. I want to show you the truth that my husband left behind. He knew the burden of this empire was too much for some. He knew who was truly capable of leading the Thorne name into the future. She snaps the paper open. The sound is like a gunshot in the quiet room. She looks directly at me. Her eyes are filled with a poisonous joy. She is enjoying this moment more than the wine, more than the money. She wants to see me break. She wants to see me fall to my knees in front of the elite of the city. Julian leans forward in his chair. He is smirking. He looks like a vulture waiting for a carcass. In this document, Eleanor says, her voice rising, my husband clearly states his final wishes. He leaves the entirety of the Thorne estate, the holdings, the accounts, the very land we stand on, to me and to my son, Julian. Collective gasp ripples through the room. The guests exchange whispers. They look at me, then back to her. They know what this means. It means I am nothing. It means the bloodline has been officially severed. But Eleanor is not finished. She wants to twist the knife. She walks toward me. Her heels click on the marble floor. Each step is a hammer blow. She stops just inches away. I can smell her expensive perfume. It is heavy with jasmine and greed. She holds the paper in front of my face. And as for his daughter Alara, she smiles. It is the smile of a predator. He writes that he has already provided enough for her. He states that she lacks the character to hold such power. He officially removes her from the family history. No name, no inheritance, no home, she laughs. It is a high, piercing sound. It echoes off the high ceilings. You are a maid in your own house, Alara, because that is all you were ever meant to be. This signature is legal. It is binding. It is the end of your story. She turns back to the room, flaunting the document. She points to the bottom of the page. The signature is there. It looks perfect. The elegant, flowing script of my father. The way he used to loop the letter T. The way he slanted the final E to any lawyer. It would look authentic. To any judge, it would be the truth. I look at the signature. I remember my father's hands. I remember the way they shook in his final days. I remember the way he held a pen. This signature is too perfect. It is too steady. It is a masterpiece of forgery. Created by a master. Paid for by a thief. Eleanor is still laughing. Julian is laughing. The guests are starting to join in. They are toasted to the new owners. They are already planning their next moves with the real Thorne heirs. The atmosphere in the room is suffocating. The heat from the fireplace feels like a furnace. My chest feels tight, not from sadness, but from the sheer force of the energy I am holding back. I can feel the rusted iron key in my pocket. It is getting warmer. It is as if the metal itself is waking up. I look at Eleanor. She is standing in the center of the room, bathing in the adoration of the crowd. She thinks she has rewritten history. She thinks she has erased me. But then I do something she doesn't expect. I don't cry. I don't beg. I don't run from the room in shame. I slowly, deliberately smile. It is not a small smile. It is a wide, calm, and terrifying expression. It is the smile of someone who knows the punchline to a joke that hasn't been told yet. It is the smile of the matriarch. Eleanor stops laughing. She looks at me. Her brow furrows. She is confused. She expected a victim. She found a statue. What are you doing? She hisses. Her voice is low, only for me to hear. Why are you looking at me like that? You are a servant. Act like one. I don't answer. I just keep smiling. I look at the clock. 11:52. 8 minutes left. Julian stands up. He is angry now. My silence is insulting to him. Mother told you to get out, Ilara. Go to the kitchen. Wash the plates. You don't belong here anymore. He walks over and grabs the document from Eleanor's hand. He shoves it toward me again. Look at it. Read the words. You are nothing. My mother is the matriarch now, and what she says is law. I look at the paper. Then I look at Julian. I speak for the first time in an hour. My voice is steady. It is deep. It carries a weight that shocks the room into silence once again. That paper is very beautiful, Julian. The ink is very dark. The signature is very graceful. I pause. I let the words hang in the air. But a crown made of paper burns very easily, especially when the fire is already under your feet. Eleanor's face goes pale. She doesn't understand the metaphor, but she feels the threat. She turns to the lawyer, Mr. Sterling. Sterling, tell her it's legal. Tell her she has no rights. Okay. Sterling stands up. He is sweating. He wipes his forehead with a silk cloth. He won't look me in the eye. The document is? It is in order, he stammers. The signature has been verified. Under the current laws of the estate, Eleanor is the sole executor. I laugh now. It is a low, melodic sound. It is the sound of a predator watching its prey walk into a trap. Under the current laws. I repeat. Yes, Sterling, you are right. Under the laws, you helped her write. Everything is perfect. But you forgot one thing. You all forgot one thing. This house was not built on your laws. It was built on a will that was written before your grandfathers were born. Eleanor steps back. She clutches the forged document to her chest, as if it can protect her. You're crazy. You've lost your mind, guards. Take her out. Throw her into the snow. I don't want her in my sight for one more second. 2 large men in suits move toward me. They are the family security. Men who were paid by my father. Men who now take orders from a thief. I don't resist. I don't move. I wait until they are right in front of me. Wait, I say. The command in my voice stops them. They hesitate. They see something in my eyes that shouldn't be there. They see the authority of a Thorne. I will leave. But I want to leave you with a gift. Eleanor. I reach into my pocket. I don't pull out a weapon. I pull out a small red wax seal. It is identical to the one on her forged will, but it is older. Much older. I hold it up for the room to see. You have your will, Eleanor, but you don't have the seal, and without the seal, a Thorne will is just a piece of paper. At midnight, The world is going to find out exactly what happens when you try to steal from the dead. The guards grab my arms. They begin to pull me toward the heavy oak doors. Julian is shouting insults. Eleanor is trying to regain her composure. She is telling the guests it is just the ramblings of a broken girl. But she is shaking. The paper in her hand is trembling. She knows. Somewhere deep in her soul. She knows she has made a mistake. The cold air hits my face as the doors open. The blizzard is howling. It is beautiful. It is pure. They shove me out onto the stone steps. I stumble, but I do not fall. I turn back and look through the closing doors. I see the warmth, the gold, the lies, and I see the clock. 11:55. 5 minutes until the default reversion clause turns their dream into a nightmare. The heavy doors slam shut. The sound of the lock turning is final. I am in the dark. I am in the cold. I am alone in the storm. But as the snow covers my black maid's uniform, I reach into my other pocket. I pull out the hardware token. The screen glows blue. It says, "Access granted. System ready." I look up at the dark windows of the mansion. The party is still going. They think they have one. They are laughing at me. But they don't realize that the house is already breathing. The security system, the bank accounts, the very locks on the doors. They all belong to me now. I press the first button. The heavy oak doors swing open. The warmth of the ballroom is sucked out into the night. It is exactly 11:15. The moment my life as a Thorne officially ends, in their eyes. The two guards do not hesitate. Their grip on my arms is like iron. They have been paid well to forget that I grew up in these halls. They have been paid to forget the girl who used to play in the gardens they are now dragging her through. I do not struggle. I do not scream. I keep my head high even as my feet skid across the polished marble threshold. The transition is violent. 1 second. I am surrounded by the scent of roasted duck and expensive lilies. The next, the air is ripped from my lungs by a wall of ice. The blizzard is a living thing. It howls like a wounded beast. It screams through the ancient oaks that line the driveway. The guards shove me forward. I stumble down the stone steps. The same steps where my father once stood to welcome kings. My knees hit the frozen ground. The impact sends a jolt of pain up my spine. But I do not make a sound behind me. The doors stay open for just a moment longer. Julian stands in the light. He looks like a silhouette of a man, a hollow shell of the legacy he is trying to steal. He holds a glass of bourbon in one hand. In the other, he holds a small, rusted object. He tosses it into the snow. It lands with a soft thud near my hand. "Take it, Alara," he sneers. His voice is barely audible over the wind. But the malice carries. Since you love the past so much, you can keep the key to the old cellar. Maybe you can find a corner to freeze in that doesn't ruin our view. He laughs. It is a dry, rattling sound. Then the doors slam shut. The sound is final. It is the sound of a coffin being nailed shut. The heavy iron bolts click into place. I am alone. The darkness of the Thorne estate is absolute. The only light comes from the glow of the ballroom windows high above me. I can see the shadows of the guests moving. They are dancing. They are drinking. They have already forgotten the girl in the snow. I reach out into the white powder. My fingers are already losing feeling. The cold is a deep, throbbing ache. I find the object Julian threw. I wrap my hand around it. It is the rusted iron key. To anyone else, it is garbage. It is a piece of scrap metal from a century ago. It is pitted with age. It is covered in a layer of orange oxidation that stains my skin. Julian thinks he gave me a useless relic. He thinks he gave me a symbol of my own poverty. But as I pull the key close to my chest, I feel the weight of it. It is not made of iron. It is a hide-and-seated tungsten core, coated in a layer of reactive rust. This key does not fit into any door in this mansion. My grandmother, the Matriarch. She was a woman of secrets. She knew that doors can be broken. She knew that locks can be picked. She knew that a house is just stone and wood. But information is eternal. I stand up slowly. My legs are shaking. The wind tries to push me back. It tries to force me to my knees. But the thorn blood in my veins is not made of water. It is made of the same ice that is falling from the sky. I look at the key in my palm. Underneath the layer of fake rust, there is a microscopic strip of silver, a magnetic signature that has been waiting for 25 years to be read. I begin to walk. I do not walk toward the gates. I do not walk toward the road where I might find help. I walk toward the North Woods, toward the oldest part of the property. The guests in the ballroom think I am wandering into the storm to die. They think this is a tragedy. They think this is the end of a fallen socialite. They are wrong. This is the beginning of a systemic execution. The snow is deep. It reaches my knees. My black scullery uniform is soaked through. The thin fabric clings to my skin like a shroud. I can feel my heart rate slowing down. My body is trying to conserve heat. My vision is blurring at the edges. But I have a map in my head. A map that was whispered to me by the matriarch when I was only 6 years old. The power is not in the parlor, Alara, she had said. Her voice was like dry parchment. The power is in the roots. Never forget the roots. I reach the edge of the woods. The trees are skeletons against the gray sky. Their branches groan under the weight of the ice. I find the marker. A single black stone pillar, half buried in the drift. I brush the snow away with my numb fingers. I find the small, circular indentation. It is perfectly sized for the head of the rusted key. I hesitate for a second. Once I turn this key, there is no going back. The Thorne Empire will begin to dismantle itself. The banks will receive the signal. The legal firms will receive the encrypted files. The forged will that Eleanor is flaunting will become her death warrant. I look back at the mansion. It looks like a dollhouse from here. Small, fragile, and filled with people who think they are gods. I insert the key. It does not turn like a normal lock. It slides in with a smooth, hydraulic hiss. The rust on the key begins to react with the chemical coating inside the pillar. A faint blue light begins to glow from beneath the stone. I can feel a vibration in the ground. It is subtle. A low-frequency hum that resonates in my bones. The dark terminal is waking up. Deep beneath the frozen earth, a series of servers are beginning to spin. They have been silent for 2 decades. They have been waiting for the matriarch's true heir. They have been waiting for the moment the family betrayed its own blood. The blue light intensifies. It reflects off the falling snow, creating a halo of cold fire around me. A small screen rises from the top of the black pillar. It is not a modern touchscreen. It is a military-grade interface. Brittle and functional text begins to scroll across the screen in a font that looks like it belongs to the Cold War. Bloodline verification required. I press my thumb against the glass. The cold has cracked my skin. A small drop of blood smears against the sensor. The machine hums. The light turns from blue to a deep, bloody red. Identity confirmed, Aria Thorne. Welcome home. I look at the clock on the terminal. 11:30. I have 30 minutes. 30 minutes to watch as their world burns. I start typing. My fingers are stiff, but my mind is sharp. I access the mainframe of the Thorne National Bank. I see the accounts. Millions, billions, all sitting there, waiting to be spent on more champagne and more diamonds. I don't move the money. That would be too simple. I don't want to be a thief. I want to be the owner. I activate the default reversion clause. I see the digital signatures of every property deed in the family portfolio. I see the mansion. I see the skyscraper in Manhattan. I see the villas in France. With one command. I link them all to the rusted key. I link them to the scullery maid in the snow. I watch as the legal ownership status of the mansion changes from trustee Eleanor Thorne to pending sovereign heir. The trigger is the midnight bell. At the stroke of 12, The legal system of the entire country will receive a notification that the Thorne Trust has been breached. They will see the forgery. They will see the betrayal. And they will see that the person they threw out into the blizzard is the only person who can stop the total liquidation of their lives. I hear a sound behind me, a branch snapping. I turn around. The snow is so thick I can barely see 5 feet in front of me. But I see a light, a flashlight beam cutting through the dark. Someone is coming. Someone followed me from the house. I don't close the terminal. I don't hide the key. I stand my ground. I want them to see. I want them to know that the girl they thought was a victim is actually the architect of their ruin. The light gets closer. I can hear heavy breathing. It is Julian. He is stumbling through the snow. His expensive suit is ruined. His face is red with wine and rage. I knew it, he gasps. He is holding a small pistol. His hand is shaking. I knew you were up to something. What is this, Ilara? What did you do to the power in the house? I look at him. I feel a strange sense of pity. He has no idea that he is already a ghost. He has no idea that the weapon he is holding is the only thing he has left in the world. The power didn't go out. Julian, I say. My voice is calm. It is the calm of the center of a hurricane. The power just changed hands. You should have stayed inside. It's going to get much colder out here. He looks at the terminal. He sees the red light. He sees my name on the screen. He doesn't understand the technology, but he understands the feeling of losing. He raises the gun. Turn it off. He screams. Turn it off or I swear I'll leave you here for the wolves. I don't move. I don't blink. I look at the countdown on the screen. 11:35. You can't turn off the truth. Julian, the matriarch's will is already in motion. And in 25 minutes, you won't even own the bullets in that gun. The wind picks up. A massive gust of snow swirls between us. For a second, he vanishes in the white. When the wind dies down, he is standing closer. The gun is aimed at my heart, but his eyes are filled with a sudden, primal fear. Because behind me, from the shadows of the old trees, he sees something he didn't expect. The security lights of the terminal are reflecting off the eyes of the estate's guard dogs. 6 massive Dobermans. They are barking. They aren't growling. They are sitting in a perfect semicircle behind me. They aren't looking at me. They are looking at Julian, and they aren't waiting for his command. The dogs do not move. They wait for my signal. Julian is frozen, not just from the wind, but from the sudden realization that he is no longer the master. I turn my back on him. I walk into the white void of the blizzard. My destination is not the mansion. The mansion is a toy. It is a stage for pretenders and thieves. The real heart of the Thorne Empire is 5 miles away. It is buried deep, beneath the cracked pavement and the neon lights of the city. I am leaving the world of old wood and forged paper. I am entering the world of digital iron. The walk through the estate grounds is a trial of fire and ice. My boots are filled with slush. My toes are numb. But the fire in my chest keeps my blood moving. I find the service hatch at the edge of the northern wall. It is hidden behind a rusted iron grate that looks like a forgotten drain. This tunnel was built during the Great War. It was designed for a family that knew how to survive a siege. I pull the grate back. The metal screams. I climb down the cold metal ladder into the dark. The air changes instantly. It is no longer freezing. It is stagnant. It smells of damp earth, old copper, and the faint, metallic scent of oil. I walk through the tunnel for 40 minutes. My footsteps echo against the brick walls. The sound is rhythmic, steady, like a heartbeat. I am a shadow moving through the guts of the city. I am the secret that the Thorne family forgot to bury. Above me, I can hear the muffled roar of the city. The subway trains rumbling like distant thunder. The sirens of the New Year's Eve celebrations. I reach the end of the line. A heavy, reinforced steel door. It has no handle, no keyhole, only a small, black glass panel. I press my hand against the cold surface. A hidden camera clicks. I emerge from a manhole in the basement of an old, unmarked brick building in the financial district. To the world outside, this building is a shell, a ghost of the industrial age. But beneath the basement floor, there is a fortress. I walk across the dusty concrete. My scullery uniform is out of place here. I look like a beggar who lost her way. I reach the elevator at the back of the room. There are no numbers on the panel, only a single recessed sensor. I lean in. My face is dirty. My hair is matted with melting snow. But my eyes are clear. The sensor emits a thin, red beam of light. It sweeps across my left iris, then the right. It maps the unique patterns of my blood vessels. It searches for the Thorne signature dot. The silence in the room is heavy. It is a waiting silence. Then a soft electronic chime. The elevator doors slide open with a hiss of pressurized air. I step inside. The doors close. I feel the stomach-dropping sensation of a high-speed descent. We are going deep, past the sewer lines, past the subway tunnels, past the foundations of the skyscrapers. We are going to the bedrock. The elevator stops. The doors open to a world of sterile, blinding light. This is the data center. It is a cathedral of glass and steel. The air here is cold, exactly 60 degrees. It smells of ozone and high-end cooling systems. It is the smell of power in its purest form. Two men stand at the entrance. They are not the hired thugs Eleanor keeps at the mansion. They are specialists. They wear gray tactical gear. They carry short-barrel rifles. They are the silent guardians of the Matriarch's secrets. They watch me step out of the elevator. Their eyes are hard, professional. They see my rags. They see the stains on my apron. One of them steps forward. His hand is on his holster. He looks at me like I am an infection in his clean room. "State your business," he says. His voice is like a machine. No emotion, no hesitation. "This is a restricted zone. You have 10 seconds to justify your presence before we remove you." I don't stop walking. I keep my pace steady. My back is straight. I look him directly in the eyes. I don't see a guard. I see a tool that belongs to my family. "My name is Aria Thorne," I say. My voice is quiet, but it carries through this sterile hall. It bounces off the glass walls of the server racks. I am the primary heir to the sovereign trust, and I am here to reclaim my house. The guard doesn't move. He doesn't laugh. He doesn't mock me like Julian did. He looks at his tablet. He sees the results of the retinal scan. He sees the green light on his screen. He sees the biological data that matches the profile locked in the system 25 years ago. He looks back at me. His posture shifts. He doesn't relax, but he lowers his hand from his weapon. The scan is positive. The second guard says, his voice is a whisper. He sounds like he has seen a ghost. But the system says she was declared deceased in the Thorne fires of 2015. How is she standing here? Because a Thorne doesn't die in a fire. I say. I walk past him. I don't wait for his permission. We just wait for the smoke to clear. I walk down the long, narrow corridor. On either side, I see the rows of servers, thousands of them. They are humming, a low, constant vibration that makes the floor tingle beneath my feet. These servers hold the digital soul of the Thorne Empire. Every transaction, every private message, every hidden bank account in the Cayman Islands. It is all here. Eleanor thinks she owns the family because she has a forged paper. She doesn't realize that the paper is just a shadow. This is the reality. I reach the center of the room. The dark terminal. It is a circular console, surrounded by a ring of monitors. The screens are dark. They have been dark for a decade. I reach into my pocket and pull out the hardware token. The device I took from the woods. I slide it into the port at the base of the console. The room wakes up. The monitors flicker to life. A flood of blue light washes over me. The text on the screens moves so fast it is a blur. Legal documents, financial ledgers, encryption keys. It is all being unsealed. I can hear the cooling fans on the walls spin faster. The hum in the room rises to a roar. I look at the clock on the main screen. 11:40. Outside, the world is getting ready to cheer. At the mansion, Eleanor is probably opening another bottle of champagne. She thinks she has secured her future. She thinks the maid is freezing to death in the woods. She has no idea that I am currently looking at her private bank accounts. I see the transfers she made to the forger. I see the bribes she paid to the estate lawyers. I see every lie she ever told my father. I touch the screen. The interface is cold. It responds to my touch with surgical precision. I am no longer a girl in a scullery uniform. I am the ghost in the machine. I am the god of the Thorne network. I start the process. I don't just delete her access. I reverse it. I set up a loop that will drain her personal accounts into a charity for orphans the moment the clock strikes midnight. I mark every property deed she's signed today as fraudulent. But I am not finished. Justice is not just taking back what was stolen. It is about exposing the thief. I find the file titled Legacy Protocol. It is a video file, recorded by the matriarch herself just weeks before she passed away. She is sitting in her study, holding a copy of the original will to my granddaughter. The matriarch's voice fills the room. It is a voice from the grave. It is strong, sharp, and filled with a dark wisdom. If you are hearing this, it means the dogs have begun to circle. It means the people you trusted have shown their true faces. Do not be afraid. This terminal is your sword. Use it. Cut the rot out of the Thorne name. Leave nothing behind but the truth. I feel a tear run down my cheek. It is warm against my cold skin. I am not alone. I have never been alone. My grandmother knew this day would come. She knew Eleanor's heart was a pit of greed, and she gave me the keys to the kingdom. I look at the countdown, 11:45. I have 15 minutes to finalize the wipe. I begin to upload the evidence to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I send the forged signatures to the National Registry. I send the audio recordings of Eleanor's confession in the ballroom to every news outlet in the country. The guards are watching me from the doorway. They are not stopping me. They are standing at attention. They have waited years for a true Thorne to return to this room. They know that by morning, the world will be a different place. I press the final key. A message appears on the screen in large red letters. Execution ready. Awaiting midnight trigger. I lean back in the chair. The blue light of the monitors reflects in my eyes. I can feel the silence of the bunker returning. I am the scullery maid who became the shadow ruler. I am the daughter who was erased. And I am about to become the woman who takes it all back. But then, the elevator chime sounds again. The doors slide open. I don't turn around. I don't have to. I can smell the expensive perfume from here. Jasmine and Greed. Eleanor has found the secret elevator. She is standing there, drenched in the melting snow from the tunnels. She is holding the forged will in one hand and a gold-plated pistol in the other. Her face is a mask of pure, unadulterated rage. Do you think you've won? You little rat, she screams, her voice cracking in the cold air. I don't look at the gun. I look at the clock. 11:48. Eleanor stands 10 feet away. The gold-plated pistol is steady in her hand. But her eyes are not steady. They are wild. They're the eyes of a woman who has built a house of cards on a windy night. The air in this bunker is exactly 60 degrees, but she is sweating. I can smell the sharp, salty scent of her fear over the heavy smell of her jasmine perfume. It is a sickening combination. I do not look at the barrel of the gun. I look at the screen behind it. 11:48. The seconds are falling like guillotine blades, each one bringing us closer to the end. Get away from the console, Elara. Her voice is a jagged edge. It lacks the smooth, royal silk she used at the banquet, here in the cold light of the servers. She is just a thief caught in the act. I will not let you destroy everything I have worked for. I have the signed will. I have the law. You are just a ghost trying to haunt a living empire. Move now. I do not move. I feel the cold metal of the terminal beneath my palms. My heart is a slow, rhythmic drum. It does not race. It does not falter. I have waited 10 years for this confrontation. I have lived in the shadows, washing the floors of the woman who stole my life. I have watched her spend my father's money while I slept in a room that smelled of damp stone. The pain has turned into something else. It has turned into iron. The law you speak of is a modern invention. Eleanor, speak softly. My voice is a low hum that vibrates in the sterile room. You trust the National Bank. You trust the courtrooms. You trust the paper you forged in the dark. But you forgot that the Thorne family existed before the bank was built. You forgot that we owned the land before the courts had names. You think you are fighting for a fortune? I am fighting for a sovereign trust, she sneers. The gun shakes slightly. Sovereign trust. More of your grandmother's fairy tales. She was a senile old woman who died clinging to a world that no longer exists. There is no trust. There is only what I can hold in my hand. And right now, I hold your life. I reach into the pocket of my stained black apron. I pull out the rusted iron key. In the harsh fluorescent light, it looks like a piece of junk. It is pitted. It is ugly. It is a relic of a time when wealth was measured in dirt and blood. I hold it up. I want her to see it. I want her to understand the depth of her own ignorance. This key is not for a door. Eleanor. I am looking at her now. My eyes are locked onto hers. It is a hardware token. It is a physical key to a digital vault that has been locked since the day the matriarch died. It holds the shadow clause, a piece of legal code that predates the National Bank. A code that recognizes only one thing. The original bloodline, Eleanor laughs. It is a high, hectic sound. It echoes off the rows of blinking servers. A rusted key. That is your secret weapon. You are pathetic. You really are your father's daughter. A dreamer. A weakling. Give it to me. I'll melt it down and make a charm for my bracelet. She steps closer. She wants the key. She thinks it is the last piece of the puzzle. She thinks if she takes it, she wins. She doesn't realize that the moment she sees the key, the trap has already closed. The security cameras in the room have already flagged her as an intruder. The biometric sensors are already recording her heartbeat, her voice, her retinal scan. She is providing the evidence I need to seal her fate. I ignore her threat. I turn back to the dark terminal. There is a small, circular port at the center of the console. It looks ancient. It is lined with dark copper. I take the rusted key. I feel the weight of it. It is heavy. It feels like the history of my family is concentrated in this one small piece of metal. I insert it into the port. The sound is not a click. It is a deep, resonant chime that feels like it comes from the bedrock itself. The rust on the key begins to glow. It is not an orange rust anymore. It is a brilliant, electric blue. The chemical coating on the key reacts with the liquid inside the port. The rust dissolves, revealing a polished silver core dot. The room changes. The white lights of the data center flicker. They dim. Then they turn a deep, warning red. The hum of the servers rises to a high-pitched whine. The floor begins to vibrate. The cooling fans spin at maximum speed. It sounds like a jet engine taking off beneath the city. On the main monitor, the blue interface of the Thorne Bank disappears. It is replaced by a black screen with a single red crest. The crest of the matriarch. What is happening? Eleanor screams. She is looking around the room. Her confidence is gone. She holds the gun with both hands now, aiming it at me. Then at the guards. Then at the ceiling. Stop IT, turn IT off, Ilara. I am warning you. I don't look at her. I watch the screen. A countdown appears in the center. 11:50, 10 minutes to midnight. The numbers are large. They are red. They are pulsing like a dying heart. Below the countdown, lines of white text begin to scroll. It is not English. It is a series of encrypted legal codes. These are the clauses of the sovereign trust. This is the shadow clause. The sovereign trust is an anchor. I say, my voice is steady against the roar of the machines. It was established in 1892. It sits outside the jurisdiction of the national banking system. It is a self-executing contract. It was designed by my grandmother to protect the estate from people like you. At midnight, the trust will verify the presence of the true heir. If the true heir is found, every asset, every deed, every dollar returns to the source. The forged will you are holding becomes a confession of theft. The money you spent tonight becomes a federal crime. Lenar's face is white. She looks at the paper in her left hand. The forged will. She looks at the red light reflecting off the diamonds on her neck. She realizes that the world she thought she conquered is a mirage. She is standing in the middle of a digital minefield. And she has already stepped on the trigger. You're lying, she gasps. But there is no conviction in her voice. You're just a maid. You don't have this kind of power. Sterling said the will was ironclad. Sterling said I was safe. Sterling is currently being arrested. Lie? But I know it will be true in 10 minutes. He was the first one the system flagged. The moment the key was inserted, his personal accounts were frozen. He is probably trying to find a lawyer of his own right now. You are alone, Eleanor. You are in a cage of your own making. She looks at the gun. A dark, desperate thought crosses her mind. If I am the only one who can activate the trust, then my death stops the countdown. She raises the barrel. She points it directly at my forehead. I'll kill you, she whispers. I'll kill you and I'll burn this whole building to the ground. I won't go back to being a nobody. I won't let you take it from me. I don't flinch. I step away from the console and walk toward her. I am unarmed. I am wearing a scullery uniform. But I feel like a queen. I feel the power of the matriarch flowing through me. I am the daughter of the Thorne line. And I am not afraid of a woman with a gold toy. Go ahead, I say. I stop 3 feet away from her. The barrel of the gun is touching my skin. It is cold. I can smell the gunpowder. Pull the trigger. But you should know, the sovereign trust is not just a bank account. It is a life monitoring system. My biometric data is currently the only thing keeping the mansion's security from locking you in. If my heart stops, the mansion goes into total lockdown. Every door will seal. Every window will shutter. You, Julian, and all your guests will be trapped inside until the federal marshals arrive. You won't be a queen. You'll be a prisoner in a golden cage. She hesitates. The sweat is dripping down her face. She is breathing in short, shallow gasps. The red light of the countdown is reflected in the gold of the gun. It looks like it is covered in blood. 11:52, 8 minutes. To midnight. The red light on the screens begins to blink faster. The hum of the servers is so loud now it is painful. In the background, I can hear the sound of the elevator moving. Someone else is coming down. Someone who has access to the basement? Who is that? Eleanor screams. She turns her head toward the door. The end of your reign. I say. The elevator doors slide open. But it is not the police. It is not the guards. It is Mr. Sterling, the lawyer. He is disheveled. His tie is undone. He is carrying a leather briefcase like it is a shield. He looks at the red lights. He looks at the countdown. He looks at me, and he falls to his knees. It's over, Eleanor, Sterling says. His voice is broken. The sovereign trust has been activated. I just got the notification on my secure line. The National Bank has already started the reversion. My firm is being liquidated as we speak. We have to leave. We have to get to the airport before they flag our passports. Eleanor looks from the lawyer to me, then back to the countdown. 11:53. The realization finally hits her. The paper in her hand is worthless. The gun is useless. The diamonds are stolen property. She has lost everything in a room she didn't even know existed. She drops the gun. It clatters on the hard floor. The sound is pathetic. I walk past her. I go back to the terminal. I don't look at her as she collapses into Sterling's arms. I have work to do. I have a legacy to rebuild. I look at the screen. The countdown is still red, but a new message has appeared. Sovereign heir confirmed. Commencing total reversion in 5 minutes. I look at the camera in the corner of the room. I know that Julian is watching from the mansion. I know he is seeing his world dissolve in real time. I lean into the microphone. "Happy New Year, Julian," I say. "I hope you like the snow, because it's the only thing you own now." The clock in the grand hall strikes 11:54. In exactly 6 minutes. Julian Thorne expects to be the king of this city. He stands at the center of the ballroom. His chest is puffed out. He is wearing a custom tuxedo that costs $40,000. He feels the weight of the fabric. He feels the smoothness of the silk lapels. To him, this is the uniform of a god. He looks around the room at the elite of the world. Bankers from London, real estate moguls from New York, tech giants from Silicon Valley. They are all here. They are all drinking his wine. They're all laughing at his jokes. They think they are celebrating the rise of a new dynasty. They have no idea they are standing on the deck of the Titanic. The air in the ballroom is heavy. It smells of expensive cigars and the cold, sharp scent of aged brandy. It smells of $500 candles and the overwhelming perfume of jasmine. But underneath it all, there is a new scent. It is faint. It is the smell of burnt ozone. It is the smell of a digital storm brewing beneath their feet. Julian does not notice. He is too busy being seen. He is too busy basking in the glow of his own stolen glory. He feels the heat from the massive stone fireplace. It is a warm, comforting glow. It feels like safety. It feels like victory. He checks his watch. A Patek Philippe with a perpetual calendar. It is a masterpiece of engineering. It is 11:55. This is the moment for the grand finale. The legacy display. A $1 million fireworks show designed to paint the night sky with the Thorne name. He wants the world to see his name in fire. He wants the neighbors to know who owns the hills. He wants the city to look up and realize that the scullery, maid's brother, is now the master of the estate. He signals to the lead pyrotechnic technician, a man in a black tactical jumpsuit standing by the French doors. The man looks professional. He looks like someone who handles millions of dollars of explosives with ease. Julian walks toward him. His shoes click on the marble floor. It is a hard, arrogant sound. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out the black card. The Centurion. It is made of titanium. It is heavy. It is the ultimate symbol of institutional power. In the world of the elite, this card is a weapon. It is a key that opens every door. "Start the sequence," Julian says. His voice is loud. He wants the guests nearby to hear. He wants them to see the transaction. He wants them to know that $1 million is nothing to him. I want the finale to be so loud it wakes up the dead. The technician takes the card. He slides it into the mobile payment terminal. The guests lean in. Their faces are lit by the flickering candlelight. They are like vultures waiting for a feast. The terminal hums. It searches for a satellite link through the blizzard. The silence in the room grows. It is a hungry silence. Then, a sharp, high-pitched beep. A sound that is small, but it cuts through the music like a razor dot. The technician frowns. He looks at the screen. He slides the card again. Faster this time. The terminal beeps again. A single word appears on the screen in cold. Red letters: declined. Julian's smile does not falter. Not yet, he chuckles. It is a dry, nervous sound. The storm. He says to the guests, "The satellite must be struggling with the snow. Try it again. This account has a $10 million daily limit. It is literally impossible for it to be declined. The technician slides the card for the third time. He holds it there. The guests are whispering now. The sound is like the rustling of dry leaves. The scent of jasmine is being replaced by the sharp, salty smell of Julian's sweat. He feels a drop run down his spine. It is cold. It feels like a needle. The terminal beeps for the final time. Declined. Referred to bank. Try this one. Julian pulls out his personal business card. He is shaking now. His hands are trembling. The gold-plated card glitters in the light. But it looks cheap now. It looks like a toy. The technician tries the second card. The same result. Red declined. He tries the corporate account. Declined. The technician looks at Julian. His face is no longer respectful. The mask of the servant has dropped. He looks at Julian with a hard, judging stare. Sir, these cards aren't just over the limit. The system says they are deactivated. Every single one of them. The bank has blocked the entire Thorne profile. I can't start the show without a deposit. And right now, you are worth 0. The words hit the room like a physical blow. The music stops. The violinists pack their bows. They haven't been paid for the night. They aren't stupid. They know when the money has run out. The silence that follows is deafening. It is a heavy, suffocating silence. You can hear the sound of the wind howling outside. You can hear the snow hitting the glass. And you can hear the sound of Julian's world falling apart. The guests are backing away. They are not his friends. They are mirrors. They only reflect the light. And right now, Julian is in the dark. One of the bankers, a man who was hugging Julian 5 minutes ago, checks his own smartphone. He gasps. His face goes pale. Julian. What is happening? The banker's voice is shaking. My firm just sent an emergency alert. Every Thorne-related asset has been flagged for a federal audit. My personal accounts have been frozen by association. You are radioactive. You are a black hole. Another guest screams. Her husband's card was just declined at the bar for a simple bottle of water. The luxury is dissolving. The gold on the walls looks like brass. The caviar on the tables looks like black sand. The elite are in a panic. They are looking for their coats. They are looking for the exit. They want to get away from the Thorne name before the contagion spreads to them. Julian is standing alone in the center of the Persian rug. The rug that is no longer his. He looks at the fireplace. The flames are dying down. The room is getting cold. He feels the weight of the matriarch's will pressing down on him. He realizes that the scullery maid wasn't just a servant. She was the anchor. And she has just cut the rope. The luxury collapse is not just about the money. It is about the power. The guests are now fighting to get to the doors. But the doors won't budge. The electronic locks have engaged. The mansion is no longer a palace. It is a vault. And they are all locked inside with a man who has no name. A voice comes over the intercom system. It is not the DJ. It is a voice they all recognize. It is Alara. Her voice is deep. It is slow. It is cinematic. It carries a weight that makes the crystal chandeliers shake. Tension guests, Alara says. Her voice echoes through the cold ballroom. The Thorne estate is now under sovereign liquidation. The money you are holding in your hands does not exist. The wine you are drinking belongs to the state. And the man you are standing with, Julian Thorne, is a trespasser. Julian drops his champagne glass. It shatters on the marble. The liquid spreads like a stain. He looks at his pocket. His phone is vibrating. A single message from an unknown sender. The scullery is warm. Julian, you should have stayed there. The panic in the room reaches a fever pitch. People are screaming. They are banging on the glass doors. The pyrotechnic technician is gone. The guards are gone. Julian is left standing in the ruins of a dream. He realizes that the $1 million fireworks were never going to happen. The only thing that is going to light up the sky tonight is the blue lights of the police. Cars coming up the driveway. He feels a tight, sharp pain in his chest. He can't breathe. The air in the ballroom is gone. The scent of jasmine is dead. There is only the smell of the end. He looks at the clock. 11:58. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes until the throne is vacant. 11:45. The atmosphere in the grand ballroom does not just change. It curdles. The transition is not a slow fade. It is a sharp, violent rupture in the fabric of their reality. 1 second. Julian is standing in the center of the room, a king without a crown. The next second, the air is filled with a sound that is more terrifying than a scream. It is a low, synchronized hum. 100 smartphones, sitting on silk tablecloths, tucked into velvet pockets, resting in manicured hands. They all begin to vibrate at the exact same frequency. It is a digital heartbeat, a collective warning from a system that has decided to purge its parasites. In the dark terminal, I feel the vibration through the floor. It is a physical sensation, like a pulse of electricity running through the soles of my boots. The air here is no longer sterile. It smells of ozone. It smells of high voltage and cold justice. My fingers are hovering over the primary execution key. The skin on my knuckles is white. My chest feels tight. Not from fear, but from the sheer, massive weight of the history I am about to rewrite. I can hear the hum of the servers rising to a scream. They are hungry. They have been fed lies for 10 years now. They are ready for the truth. I press the key. The word transmit flashes in a cold, industrial white on my screen. This is the systemic wipe. It is not a simple deletion. It is a reclamation. In the ballroom, Julian's phone buzzes in his pocket. He pulls it out with shaking hands. He expects a call from his lawyers. He expects a message of hope. But the screen is not showing a notification. It is showing a process. A progress bar. It is moving from left to right with a terrifying, surgical speed. Underneath the bar, there are 4 words. They are written in a font that dates back to the Matriarch's era. Return to sender. Julian stares at the screen. He sees his bank app open automatically. He sees the numbers. The millions. The tens of millions. They are not dropping to zero. They are vanishing. The line items are being struck through with a red line. The text is changing. Account holder Julian Thorne is being replaced. The pixels are shifting. They are reforming. They now read Sovereign Trust, Aria Thorne. The money is not being spent. It is being pulled back. It is being sucked into a vacuum that Julian cannot touch. The sensory experience in the ballroom is a nightmare. The smell of expensive jasmine is being overtaken by the smell of fear. A cold, metallic sweat that clings to the skin of every guest in the room. The music has stopped. The only sound is the rhythmic buzz of the phones. It sounds like a swarm of hornets. Julian's face is a mask of gray. He tries to tap the screen. He tries to stop the transfer. But the phone is hot. It is burning his hand. The lithium battery is struggling to keep up with the processing power of the Sovereign Trust override. Mother. Julian gasps. His voice is a thin, pathetic sound. He turns to Eleanor. But she is not looking at him. She is staring at her own phone. She is watching her digital identity dissolve. Her social security number. Her driver's license. Her passport. They are all being flagged as invalid. On her screen, her portrait is being replaced by a silhouette of a woman in a scullery uniform. She is being erased. She is becoming a ghost in her own lifetime. The systemic wipe is now targeting the property deeds. This is the heart of the matriarch's will. This is the moment the ground beneath the mansion truly shifts. On the monitors in the dark terminal, I see the map of the city. I see the Thorne holdings, the skyscraper in the financial district, the villas in the Hamptons, the mountain retreat in Aspen. Each one is a glowing dot of gold. I execute the reversion protocol. One by one, the dots turn from gold to deep, bloody red. The digital signatures of Eleanor and Julian are being stripped from the files. The system is scanning the original land grants from 1892. It is looking for the bloodline match. It finds me. It finds the girl in the basement. The girl with the rusted key. The legal status of every building. Every square inch of Thornland. Flips in a millisecond dot back in the ballroom. The lights flicker. The smart home system is rebooting. The thermostat drops 10 degrees in a single second. The sound of the wind outside becomes louder because the electronic seals on the windows are disengaging. They are returning to their default state. The state they were in before Eleanor forged the will. The mansion is no longer a fortress for thieves. It is a trap for TRSPASs. The guests are in a full, primal panic now. They are checking their own phones. They are realizing that their association with the Thorne family has made them targets. Their digital footprints are being traced. Their connections to the forgery are being uploaded to the federal cloud. The air is thick with the sound of desperate breathing. The scent of burnt electronics fills the room as the main server in the mansion's study melts down. Julian drops his phone. The screen is shattered, but the red text is still visible. Return to sender. He looks at his hands. He looks at the expensive ring on his finger. He realizes that even the jewelry he is wearing is being tracked. The digital inventory of the Thorne estate has flagged every asset, every piece of art, every silver spoon. They are all being claimed by the trust dot in the dark terminal. I lean back. My work here is almost done. The screens are a waterfall of data. I see the messages being sent to the world's major stock exchanges. I see the Thorne stock being delisted. I see the headlines already forming on the news sites. The Thorne empire collapses. The maid's revenge. The return of the sovereign heir. The silence in the bunker is absolute. It is a heavy, satisfying silence. It is the silence of a job well done. I can feel the temperature in the room rising as the servers cool down. The ozone smell is fading. It is being replaced by the smell of old paper. The original documents of the Matriarch are sitting on the desk next to me. They look different now. They look alive. The systemic wipe is complete. There is nothing left for Eleanor and Julian to hold on to. They have no money. They have no name. They have no home. They are standing in a ballroom that they no longer own, wearing clothes that have been flagged as stolen property, surrounded by guests who will testify against them to save their own skins. I look at the countdown. 11:59. 1 minute left. The final minute of 2025. The year the Thorne family tried to bury me. It is the year I dug myself out. It is the year the scullery maid became the architect of their destruction. I hear the sound of heavy engines in the distance. The sound of the city is changing. The sirens are getting closer. The red and blue lights are beginning to reflect off the snow outside the mansion windows. They aren't just here for a noise complaint. They are here for the biggest financial crime in the history of the country. And they have all the evidence they need. Because I just sent it to them. Julian looks out the French doors. He sees the black SUVs. He sees the men in tactical gear. He looks at his mother. She is sitting on the floor. Her mother's diamonds are dull in the dim light. She is holding the forged will. It is just a piece of paper now. It has no power. It has no weight. It is a death warrant. They're here. Julian whispers. His voice is broken. They're here for us. I stand up from the terminal. I take the rusted key. I put it back in my pocket. I don't need the machines anymore. The machines have done their work. I walk toward the elevator. I am going back to the surface. I am going back to the mansion. I want to be there when the doors open. I want to be the first thing they see when they are dragged out into the snow. The elevator doors close. The descent is over. I am rising. I am ascending back to the world I was born into. The world that was stolen from me. I can feel the vibration of the city. It feels like applause. It feels like the start of something new. But as the elevator reaches the ground floor, I see something on the internal security monitor. Something I didn't plan for. There is a car waiting at the service entrance of the mansion. A car that doesn't belong to the police. It is an old, black limousine. The same one my father used to drive. The door of the limousine opens. A figure steps out. A figure that should not be there. The snow does not just fall, it buries. The Thorne estate is being swallowed by a white silence. But that silence is about to be shattered. 11:56. The countdown to the new year is no longer a celebration. It is a timer on a bomb, outside at the end of the long, oak-lined driveway. The heavy iron gates groan. They do not open because a guard pressed a button. They open because the system has recognized a higher authority. The red and blue lights of the police cars are gone. In their place are the matte black frames of armored SUVs. They move in a perfect, silent line. They do not have sirens. They do not need them. Their presence is the siren. The tires crunch on the frozen gravel. It is a slow, rhythmic sound, like a giant chewing on glass. I watch them from the security monitors in the dark terminal. Each vehicle is a shadow against the white storm. They surround the mansion. They form a ring of black iron around the golden cage. Inside the ballroom, the music has died a miserable death. The guests are huddling together. Their expensive silks and furs offer no protection against the sudden, piercing chill. The smell of the room has changed. The jasmine is gone. The champagne is flat. The air smells of wet wool and the sharp, metallic tang of fear. Julian stands at the top of the marble staircase. He is shaking. His $40,000 tuxedo is damp with sweat. He watches as the heavy front doors are thrown open, not by force, but by a digital command. The cold air rushes in. It carries the scent of the blizzard and the smell of high-grade gun oil. 10 men enter. They are not local police. They do not wear the blue uniforms of the city. They wear tactical vests with a single gold crest on the chest, the crest of the United States Marshals. They move with a clinical precision. They do not shout. They do not draw their weapons. They don't have to. Their authority is absolute. They walk past the priceless statues. They walk past the cowering elite. Their heavy boots make a sound like thunder on the marble. Clack, clack, clack. Each step is a nail in the coffin of the Thorne family. What is the meaning of this? Julian screams. His voice is high. It cracks like a dry twig. Do you know who I am? I am Julian Thorne. This is my house. You are trespassing on private property. I want you out now. The lead marshal stops at the foot of the stairs. He is a tall man. His face is a mask of stone. He pulls a single, laminated document from his vest. He does not look at Julian. He looks through him, as if Julian is already a ghost. Mr. Thorne? The marshal's voice is deep. It is calm. It is the voice of a man who is simply reading a weather report. We are not here to discuss your name. We are here because of a property transition. At 11:45 tonight, the deed to this estate was flagged by the Sovereign Trust. The ownership status has reverted. This is no longer Thorne property. Eleanor pushes through the crowd. She is clutching the forged will to her chest like a shield. Her diamonds are clashing against each other, making a frantic, tinny sound. That is impossible. I have the will. I have the court order. I am the executor, Sterling. Tell them. Shh. She looks for her lawyer. But Sterling is already being escorted toward the door. His hands are in plastic zip ties. He won't look at her. He is staring at the floor. His career is over. His life is over. He is just another piece of trash being cleared from the room. The document you are holding is irrelevant. The marshal says. He takes a step up the stairs. Julian flinches. The Sovereign Trust predates your court orders. It is a primary lien. Under the Matriarch's shadow clause, any attempt to forge or alter the lineage results in an immediate and total reversion of assets. You are not the executors. You are trespassers. The word trespassers ripples through the ballroom. The guests begin to back away from Eleanor and Julian. They don't want to be associated with the smell of failure. They don't want to be caught in the vacuum of a collapsing empire. The sensory detail of the room is overwhelming. I can see the way the light catches the tears on Eleanor's face. I can hear the frantic clicking of high heels. as the guests try to find another exit. But there is no other exit. This is the ghost eviction. It is called that because the owners are removed before they even realize they've lost. The locks on the wine cellar click. The power to the private theater cuts out. The heating system in the master bedroom shuts down. The house is rejecting them. Like a body rejecting a virus. You can't do this. Julian whimpers. He is clutching the gold railing so hard his knuckles are purple. It's New Year's Eve. You can't put us out in a blizzard. We have nowhere to go. You have the scullery. The marshal says. It is a cold, brutal joke. But nobody is laughing. Actually, you don't even have that. Every square inch of this land, from the bedrock to the roof, now belongs to the primary heir. And the primary heir has requested your immediate removal. The panic is now a physical thing. The guests are being herded toward the side exits. Their names are being taken. Their IDs are being scanned. They are being told that their luxury cars in the driveway have been impounded as part of the trust liquidation. The golden heirs are watching their friends be treated like criminals. And they are next. Who is it? Eleanor screams. Her voice is raw. Who is the new owner? Who did this to us? I'll kill them. I swear I'll kill them. The marshal doesn't answer. He simply checks his watch. 11:58. He looks toward the front door. The snow is swirling in the entryway. A dark figure appears in the storm. It is a woman. She is walking slowly. Her head is held high. She is wearing a simple black wool coat. It is a stark contrast to the shimmering gowns and heavy jewelry in the room. She looks like a shadow moving through a dream. As she steps into the light, the room goes silent. The marshals snap to attention. They do not bow, but they show a level of respect they haven't shown to anyone else tonight. The woman reaches the center of the hall. She pulls back her hood. It is Elara. She is not the maid anymore. She is not the girl who was thrown into the snow. The light from the chandeliers reflects in her eyes. They are the eyes of the matriarch. They are cold. They are wise. And they are filled with a terrifying, quiet power. She looks at Julian. She looks at Eleanor. She doesn't say a word. She doesn't have to. The silence is her weapon. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out a small, red wax seal. She places it on the marble pedestal at the base of the stairs. The seal of the sovereign trust. The house is clean, Elara says. Her voice is a whisper, but it carries to every corner of the room. It is the only sound in the world. Julian tries to speak, but no words come out. He is looking at the sister he mocked. He is looking at the girl he tried to freeze to death. He realizes that she didn't just survive the storm. She became the storm. The marshals move in. They grab Eleanor by her silk sleeves. They grab Julian by his expensive lapels. They don't use handcuffs. They don't need to. They simply walk them toward the door. Toward the black SUVs. Toward the cold, dark reality of a life with nothing. The scent of the room shifts one last time. It no longer smells of jasmine. It no longer smells of ozone. It smells of old paper. It smells of the truth. It smells of a legacy that has finally returned to the right hands. The guests are gone. The thieves are gone. The ballroom is empty. Except for Elara. She stands at the foot of the stairs, looking up at the portrait of her grandmother. The matriarch is smiling now, but as the clock hits 11:59, Elara hears a sound that shouldn't be there. A soft, rhythmic tapping. Coming from behind the heavy, velvet curtains of the study, she turns. Her hand goes to the rusted key in her pocket. The air in the room suddenly feels much, much colder. The clock is breathing down our necks. 11:59. The silence in the room is so loud it hurts. Every guest is frozen. Every eye is locked on the heavy oak doors. The air in the ballroom has turned into ice. It does not smell like the expensive jasmine perfume anymore. It smells of the blizzard. It smells of the ancient stones of the mansion. It smells of a secret that has been buried for 25 years. The heavy iron bolts do not click this time. They slide. They move with a smooth, hydraulic grace that only the true owner can command. The doors glide open. It is not a violent entrance. It is a haunting. The light from the hallway is a blinding white against the dim, red glow of the ballroom. A figure stands in the center of the threshold. It is not the scullery maid. The rags are gone. The stained black apron is gone. The smell of dishwater and floor wax has been erased. In its place, there is a presence that makes the air vibrate. There is a scent that fills the room. It is the scent of the matriarch. Aged roses, dark amber, and the metallic tang of old power. Aria Thorne steps forward. She is not walking. She is gliding. Her back is a pillar of iron. Her head is held high. She is wearing the forbidden silk. It is a dress that was never meant to be seen by common eyes. It was hand-woven in the mountains of the East, a fabric so rare it was outlawed for anyone outside the direct bloodline. The color is not black. It is liquid obsidian. It is the color of the sky just before a storm breaks. Every time she moves, the fabric shimmers like oil on water. It reflects the light of the dying chandeliers in a way that looks like cold fire. The room is a tomb. Nobody breathes. Julian is standing on the stairs. His mouth is open, but no sound comes out. He looks at the silk. He recognizes the pattern. The silver embroidery along the collar is not just a design. It is the Thorne family tree, a map of blood and legacy that stretches back centuries. He sees his own name, but it is small. It is a branch that is being pruned. He looks at Elira's eyes. They are the same color as the silk, deep, dark, and filled with a quiet, merciless intelligence. Eleanor is clutching the banister so hard her knuckles look like white stones. She knows that dress. She searched for it for 10 years. She tore apart the vaults. She ripped the floorboards out of the matriarch's bedroom. She wanted the silk because she knew that the silk is the law. In the world of the Thorne family, the person who wears the forbidden silk is the person who holds the keys to the sovereign trust. It is more than a garment. It is a crown that you wear on your body. You've found it, Eleanor whispers. Her voice is a dry, rattling sound. It is the sound of a woman who has finally realized she is a beggar. I burned everything. I searched every inch. Where was it? Aria does not answer immediately. She stops at the foot of the stairs. The train of the obsidian silk pools around her feet like a shadow. She looks at the room. She sees the bankers. She sees the politicians. She sees the people who toasted to her destruction. She looks through them as if they are made of glass, as if they are already forgotten. The matriarch didn't hide it from the world, Eleanor, Aria says. Her voice is a low, melodic hum. It carries to the furthest corner of the hall. It is a voice that belongs in a throne room, not a kitchen. She hid it from you. You looked in the vaults. You looked in the safes. You looked where people like you look for gold. But the silk was never in a safe. It was in the scullery. Underneath the floorboards I spent every morning scrubbing. It was right beneath your feet. While you were stepping on me, you were stepping on the very thing that would destroy you. A ripple of shock goes through the guests. They look at the floor. They look at the girl they treated like trash. The realization is a physical weight. They didn't just witness a revenge story. They participated in a crime. And now, the judge has arrived. The clock ticks. 11:59 and 30 seconds. The red light of the countdown on the ballroom monitors begins to pulse. The sound is rhythmic, like a heartbeat. It matches the movement of Alara's breathing. The smart home system is fully integrated now. The temperature in the room begins to rise, but the air stays crisp. The scent of the old roses gets stronger. It is overwhelming. It is the smell of the past coming back to claim the present. Julian tries to take a step down the stairs, but the federal marshals move. They form a wall of black tactical gear between him and his sister. They do not look at him with respect. They look at him with a cold, professional boredom. He is no longer a client. He is no longer a Thorne. He is a trespasser being processed. This isn't legal. Julian screams. His voice is cracking. He is losing his mind. A dress is not a deed. A silk cloth is not a bank account. Sterling, do something. Tell them this is a circus. Tell them she's just a maid in a stolen dress. Sterling is already in handcuffs at the edge of the room. He looks at Julian with a face full of pity. It's over, Julian. The silk is the hardware key. The fabric is embedded with silver nanothreads. It acts as a proximity sensor for the sovereign trust. The moment she walked into this room wearing that dress, the biometric lock on the estate was permanently set to her signature. You could have all the forged wills in the world. It doesn't matter. The house recognizes the silk, and the silk belongs to her. The room goes silent again. The logic trap is closed. The betrayal is complete. The scullery maid didn't just find a dress. She found the interface for the entire Thorne empire. She is literally wearing the power that Julian tried to steal. Alara looks up at the grand clock. The gold leaf on the Roman numerals seems to glow. The minute hand is trembling. It is fighting against the weight of the seconds. The final 30 seconds of the year. The final 30 seconds of the Thorne dynasty as the world knew it. She turns her head slowly, looking at each guest in turn. Tonight, you all came here to witness a new beginning, Alara says. Her eyes are like cold diamonds. You wanted to see the Thorne name rise. You wanted to be part of the new order? Well, you got your wish. But the new order does not include people who forge signatures. It does not include people who throw their sisters into the snow. And it certainly does not include anyone who forgets who built this house. She reaches into her pocket. She pulls out the rusted iron key. She holds it up next to the shimmering obsidian silk. The contrast is perfect. The old world meeting the new. The physical meeting the digital. The scullery maid meeting the queen. The scullery is empty now, Alara says. Her voice is like a gavel hitting a block of marble. And by the time the sun rises, this ballroom will be empty too. The marshals will escort you to the gate. You will leave with nothing but the clothes on your backs. Because everything else, everything you touch tonight, reverts to the trust. Eleanor falls to her knees on the stairs. Her diamonds hit the wood with a sharp, clattering sound. She is weeping. But there is no sound. Only the sight of a woman who has lost everything she never truly owned. Julian collapses next to her. He looks at his sister. He looks at the forbidden silk. He realizes that he will never touch that fabric again. He will never feel the weight of that legacy. The clock hits 11:59 and 50. 5 seconds. The red light on the screens turns to a brilliant, blinding gold 5432.1. The bell of the mansion begins to toll. It is a deep, bronze sound. It shakes the foundations of the house. It echoes across the snowy hills. It is the sound of a new year. But for the people in this room, it is the sound of a funeral. The lights in the ballroom go out. For 1 second, the room is in total darkness. The only thing visible is the electric blue glow of the marking forbidden silk. It illuminates Alara like a ghost. Then the power comes back on. But it is different. The lights are warmer. The music starts again. But it is not the violinists. It is a recording of the matriarch's favorite piano concerto. Alara stands alone at the foot of the stairs. The guests are gone. The family is gone. The thieves have been cleared out by the silent. Professional marshals, the room is hers. The empire is hers. She looks at the door to the study. The heavy velvet curtains are still twitching. She walks toward them, her silk dress rustling like the wings of a crow. I know you're there, she says. The curtains part. The clock hits 12. 0000. The year 2025 is a corpse. 2026 is born in a room filled with the scent of frozen pine and the bitter taste of copper. This is the 0 hour, the moment the world resets. The moment the digital scales of justice finally balance themselves. In Times Square, millions are cheering. They are hugging strangers. They are bathed in the glow of neon lights and false hope. But here, in the heart of the Thorne estate, the only light is the cold, blue fire of the forbidden silk, and the red pulse of the sovereign. Terminal. The sound of the final bell is still vibrating in the crystal chandeliers. It is a heavy, mournful sound. It is not a celebration. It is a funeral for a lie. I stand at the base of the grand staircase. My hands are resting on the obsidian fabric of my dress. I can feel the silver threads humming against my skin. They are connected to the house. They are connected to the land. They are connected to me. I am no longer Ilara, the girl who washed the floors. I am the matriarch's will. Julian is slumped against the gold railing. His eyes are hollow. He looks like a man who has seen the end of the world. And in a way, he has. His world was made of paper. It was made of forged ink and borrowed power. And tonight, the wind blew it all away. Eleanor is silent. She is sitting on the bottom step. Her mother's diamonds look like pieces of broken glass in the dim light. She is looking at her hands. Her hands are empty. The forged will is lying on the marble floor between us. It is just a piece of trash now. It is a relic of a dead dream. The lead marshal steps forward. He looks at me. He is waiting. The system is waiting. The entire Thorne Empire is holding its breath. The default reversion clause is fully active. But it requires a voice. It requires the final command to seal the transition. I reach into the hidden pocket of my silk dress. I pull out the original, handwritten testament of my grandmother. The paper is yellow. It smells of dust and old lavender. It is the only real thing in this room. I open the scroll. The ink is dark. It is heavy. It was written by a woman who knew that her family would fail her. I look at the very last line. The line that was kept secret even from my father. The line that only the true heir can speak at the stroke of midnight. The inheritance of the Thorne name is not a gift. I say, my voice is steady. It is deep. It carries the weight of a century of secrets. It is a trust. And a trust that is broken is a trust that is forfeit. I look directly at Eleanor. She flinches as if I had struck her. The final word of the matriarch is not a name. It is a sentence. I pause. I let the silence of the room wrap around us. The word is void. The moment the word leaves my lips, the mansion reacts. It is not a digital change this time. It is physical. The heavy iron bolts on the front doors slide back. The lights in the ballroom turn a brilliant, blinding white. The heating system shuts off with a low, thudding sound. The warmth begins to drain from the room instantly. The scent of the aged roses intensifies. It becomes suffocating. It is the smell of a legacy reclaiming its space. Void. The word echoes through the intercom system. It echoes through the hallways. It echoes in the bank vaults in Switzerland. It echoes in the server rooms beneath the city. The digital identities of Eleanor and Julian Thorne are not just erased. They are classified as non-entities in the eyes of the law, in the eyes of the system. They no longer exist. They have no history. They have no future. They are nobody's dot. The marshal nods to his men. The transition is complete, says. His voice is cold. It is final. The owner has spoken. Remove the trespassers. Julian tries to fight. He tries to grab the railing. But the marshals are too strong. They lift him up as if he weighs nothing. They drag him toward the open front doors. He is screaming. He is begging. He is calling my name. But his voice sounds small. It sounds like the wind. I do not look at him. I do not feel pity. I remember the cold of the scullery. I remember the taste of the snow. I remember the way they laughed when they threw me out. Eleanor does not fight. She walks. She moves like a ghost. She is staring straight ahead. Her eyes are wide, unblinking. She walks past me. The silk of her dress brushes against the forbidden silk of mine. It is the sound of a fake meeting the truth. She reaches the threshold. She looks out into the blizzard. The same blizzard she sent me into 3 hours ago. The wind howls. It rushes into the grand hall. It carries the white, freezing powder of the New Year's Eve storm. It covers the marble floor. It covers the broken champagne glasses. It covers the forged will. They are escorted down the stone steps. The marshals do not give them coats. They do not give them shoes. They give them exactly what they gave me. Nothing. I stand in the doorway. I watch as the black SUVs pull away. I watch as the taillights disappear into the white void of the driveway. Julian and Eleanor are left standing at the gates. Two shadows in the snow. They are standing on the ground they thought they owned, but the ground is cold, and it does not recognize them. The gates lock with a heavy, final clang. The sound vibrates through the entire estate. It is the sound of a door closing on the past. The golden heirs are now just two cold people in the dark. They will have to walk to the road. They will have to find a way to survive in a world that doesn't know who they are. They are the nobodies. I turn back to the ballroom. It is empty now. The guests are gone. The thieves are gone. The elite of the city are currently sitting in their cars, realizing that their connections to the Thorne family are now a liability. They are realizing that the scullery maid is the person they should have been talking to. I walk to the center of the room. I pick up the forged will. I look at the signature. I look at the lie. I walk to the fireplace. The embers are still glowing, a deep, angry red. I drop the paper into the heat. I watch it burn. The edges curl. The forged signature of my father turns to ash. The lie is gone. The weight in my chest finally begins to lift. I feel a strange, quiet peace. The house is silent. It is a good silence. It is the silence of a clean slate. I look at the clock. 12:15. The first 15 minutes of my new life. I am the owner of a billion-dollar empire. I am the keeper of the sovereign trust. I am the matriarch. But I am also the girl who survived the snow. I walk to the window. I look out at the city. The fireworks are still going off in the distance, small, colorful sparks against the black sky. They look like toys. They look like things that can be easily broken. I reach into my pocket. I touch the rusted iron key. It is warm now. It feels like a part of my body. It is a reminder of where I came from. It is a reminder that the strongest things are often the ones that look the most broken. I hear a sound behind me, a soft, rhythmic tapping on the floor. I turn around. The 6 Dobermans are standing in the doorway. They are watching me. Their eyes are intelligent. They are loyal. They are the only family I have left. Come. I say, Dot. The dogs move toward me. They sit in a circle around the base of the stairs. I sit on the bottom step, the same step where Eleanor sat in her defeat. I look at the portraits of my ancestors. They are not judging me anymore. They are waiting. The new year has begun. The justice is served. The family is in the snow, and I am home. But as I close my eyes, I feel a cold draft. The front door is closed. The windows are sealed. But the air in the room is moving. I look at the matriarch's portrait. The silk in the painting looks exactly like the silk I am wearing. And then I see it. A small red light blinking on the frame of the portrait. A hidden camera. A camera that is still recording. The sovereign trust is not finished. The 0 hour was just the beginning of the protocol. There is one more clause. One more secret that the matriarch left for the survivor. I stand up. My heart starts to race. I walk toward the portrait. My hand is shaking. I touch the frame. I feel a small, hidden switch. The portrait begins to move.